Well, welcome back, everybody, to the Raider roster report. This is Raider Sparks coming at you with another video here. Just want to give you my thoughts on the Raiders draft and kind of take a look in depth a little bit about the roster and kind of let you know what I'm seeing here on the 53-man roster here after the draft. I waited a little bit because I wanted to see if we made any more moves in post-draft free agency, but so far just one in Michael Gallup. So a little slow there, but I'm sure after the rookie mini camp, they'll see what they got and then kind of decide from there. But we'll see if anything happens between now and then. I think the rookie mini camp is next weekend, so coming up soon, so not too far away. As far as the draft goes, I give it a solid B+. I think it was it filled some needs, but also just got some really good players. Not many of the players that I'd talked about, I kind of covered over the course of the process about, I think it was 103 different players in the different videos that I talked about. And we got pretty much none of them. I think in my final mock draft, I had Dylan Lave. So that's consistently the one guy I kept mocking to the Raiders because I thought that was the best fit as far as running back goes, and so I was really happy that we got him. But we'll just talk a little bit about some of the needs I did 5 key needs even before the quarterback, but I did talk about the quarterback need, and kind of what I said with that was if your guy didn't fall to you at 13, don't trade up and don't get anybody after 13 because it would be a waste of a draft pick. So I really was glad that they didn't go all in for one of these quarterbacks, or that they didn't waste a draft pick on a Spencer Rattler or something like that. I didn't see the need in any of that, and obviously they didn't either. So I think that was great. I do think Aiden O'Connell will be the starting quarterback, and I have no problem with that at all. He had a really good end of the season, so just kind of build on that. And then if worst case, and then you have to go with Gardner Minshew, that's fine too. But yeah, so that was key for me. But the main 5 things that I talked about were, one, establishing a side of the line, a powerful side of the line, one that we could run behind. And I was more thinking that they would do the tackle spot. But Jackson Powers-Johnson happened to be there at 44, which I didn't talk about him because I thought for sure he was a first-round pick. So getting him at 44 was great. Putting him at right guard next to Munford, I think, would be the best power duo that we could probably put together. So I think that's probably what's going to be on the line. But let's say Glaze beats out Munford. Then I think it's interesting because I don't know if you want 2 rookies starting on one side of the line. So you might flip-flop Parham and JPJ there in that case. But as we sit right now, I think the power run side will be to the right between JPJ and Munford. I think that's kind of the way to go there. And then I said, be able to block with 5. Bowers sort of changed that equation a little bit just because more 12 personnel. So you will have Mayer in there to chip a little bit and then get out in the pattern. So I think that's ultimately fine. If Glaze wins, he's a good blocker, but the speed rushers get him. I mean, the Penn State guys kind of got him pretty good, so we'll see. But he grades out very highly. I think he was number 6 or number 8 on the PFF list as far as pass blocking. JPJ, I think, was number 1, so we got a solid one there. But we'll see who wins that right tackle spot, and who knows? Andrew Coker is no joke either. The UDFA we got from TCU. Plus, we could always add a free agent, although there aren't many available that I think could do it. It might be a low budget signing and maybe somebody pops off there like Connor McDermott or something like that. The Patriots just cut him. But yeah, you never know. David Bakhtiari obviously has familiarity with the system, but he's who knows what his price would be or how healthy he is. But he's primarily been a left tackle, but maybe you flip him to the right side if the Raiders want to kind of go that route. These free agents' prices are probably coming down, so that could be a name to keep an eye on because he would be familiar with the system as well. And so those are a couple guys that I thought of. And then a deep threat or just a playmaker from the slot. Well, I was thinking speed, but but we kind of got the playmaker, right, in Bowers. I wasn't thinking tight end, so I really didn't think he'd be there at 13 either. So that was a shock, but I think it was a great pick because he can do all of those things. The fifth one I did was get just a difference maker on a position that we already had good depth at, and so we did that with Bauer as well. It kind of checked 2 boxes in one. Definitely a playmaker, can play everywhere, and also on hidden benefit too is that, you know, he can play in the backfield too. So if we didn't, most of Luke Essie's, or if not all of his offenses had a fullback, so maybe that's a roster spot we don't need because of him. And a couple plays that the fullback might run, he might jump in there as well to do that. So you never know, but what a threat, what an offensive weapon we got with Bauer. So it was a great pickup. And then for a playmaking DB, we kind of got that in the later round, like D. McCarty, or I can't say his first name, but Richardson. He is good. I mean, he's got a shot to be great, but he needs to get ball skills a little bit. You know, he had no interceptions throughout his college career. But Devonshire and Trey Taylor, those are 2 playmaking defensive backs. So although we didn't get that starting cornerback, I don't think, at least from day one, you know, Richardson, you know, may turn out to be that, and Devonshire too. But I think overall, we still filled a lot of holes in the draft, and unexpected, right? We didn't expect to get a tight end, and I didn't think we'd go for the interior lineman before the tackle. I thought that would be flip-flopped when we did it. Obviously, you guys saw my mock drafts. A lot of the guards that I wanted for the Raiders is I was using PFN a lot. They had a lot of the guards that I thought we would maybe get or target, you know, 4th round or later, and a lot of them went in the 3rd round. So you know, I think the NFL really values that guard position now that these free agents are getting so much money. So they all got pushed way up the draft board, except JPJ fell down, I guess probably because of some injury concerns. But surprisingly, and all the quarterbacks that went too. But anyways, we ended up getting him. So I think very solid overall. I think in my mock drafts, I did a 5 mock draft series. And in that series, I had, you know, a tackle, a guard, a safety, a cornerback, and a wide receiver in all of the 5 mock drafts of those positions. And say what you want about Bauer, but he's basically a receiver. So we got all 5 of those positions. And then 3 of the 5 mock drafts, I was taking at least 1 linebacker. And of course, we got Tommy Eichenberg as a linebacker. So overall, pretty good. I give it a B+. There's some players that I would have rather had. Obviously, I listed a lot. So that 7th round in particular, you know, I really like Myles Harden to kind of play that nickel role for us. But we took MJ. And then I like Jaylon Key as well. But we ended up with Trey Taylor. And I think one thing that we don't know, like behind the scenes, is obviously Trey Taylor and Coach Pierce, they already had some form of relationship. So you could tell in that phone call they knew each other. So I think that's kind of some of the things that we don't know about, you know, as fans kind of reviewing the draft and the prospect and things like that. So, but anyways, yeah, I was very, very happy with the draft. I think our team definitely improved coming out of the draft. And I think there's still a few spots that we can get. Let's just take a look at the roster. So, and I should mention the 103 players that I talked about. All but 3 of them are not in a camp, and that's because there was Leandre and Andres from Mars Hill, so Division II school. He hasn't gotten to camp yet or gotten an invite that I've found. So that was kind of a long shot, but he's a hell of a blocker, man. He's a good right tackle. Didn't see any pro day numbers for him, so that could be an issue. I'm not sure the athleticism, but just watching him play, he's very dominant. He should get an invite to a camp somewhere. The other one was Jaylon Hutchings out of Texas Tech, the defensive tackle. I think, you know, he was injured, so his pro day, he only did the bench. So that could be holding him back. And I'm really surprised he's not been invited to a camp yet. So I'm not sure the severity of the injury. So maybe that's something to do with it. But I would hope that the Raiders, for the rookie minicamp, may get 1 or 2 of these guys to get an invite to camp. And the third one was Antonio Alfonso, who has a very checkered past or interesting history as far, you know, he's a JUCO player this last year. So kind of some long shots that I threw out there, but all good players. And I mean, after all the players that I talked about, it was kind of cool to see because I took a lot of long shots. and all these guys got some form of invite or UDFA contract or drafted. So that was kind of cool to see. So I'm hoping those three guys can get some sort of look at an NFL team. But if we take a look at the roster, I had 23 on the offensive side. So two quarterbacks, AOC I think is the starter, and then Minshew. And then receiver-wise, I got Adams, Myers, and Tucker like solid on the team. But I think we keep 5 receivers, so I still have 2 spots open. I know we just signed Gallup, but his injuries are kind of a concern, and he didn't get much of a contract, so I think there's some questions there. DJ Turner, he's a possibility. Tulu Griffin, I think, is a UDFA that I think might make this team. I read somewhere that 65 UDFAs made the 53-man roster last year, and so that's about 2 a team, and last year we didn't keep any. So we're definitely looking at a youth movement. Obviously, look at our draft. The first 3 picks we got were 21 years old, so I don't think that's by accident. I think we definitely went with a youth movement, which is great. And so if you want to continue that, maybe take a look at him. Keaton and Foreman and Wilkerson, I'm not sure they ultimately make the team, but I think obviously Gallup has a great shot, and I think Tulu has a good shot to do that. And then I kept 4 tight ends, because Bowers is really a tight end receiver, and obviously Mayer and Bryant, who has a solid contract, right? They gave him some money. And then the final spot, Fotheringham, Gentry, or Shanker. I think Fotheringham is a great shot to make this team. I really like his game, and I'm kind of rooting for him to make it, but we'll see what happens there. And then tackle, obviously we have Miller, Munford, and Glaze as the 3 tackles. And then guards, we obviously have Parm and JPJ. And I think that third backup guard spot, I know we have White here, but that could be a little bit up in the air. And we have Meredith for a spot. And Jacob Johanning is an interesting UDFA as well. So he's somebody that can make the team. And then I have sort of a wild card, the 18th spot, or the, one center, James. Obviously, we brought in some UDFA guys as well for the center position, but I don't really think we need to carry more than 1 center, just because, if you look at Whitehair or Meredith, if one or both make the team, those guys both play center. But we also have JPJ and Parham that also play center, so not really a need, I don't think, to carry 2 centers when we have all these guards that can do that as well. And then also we have, as far as flexibility goes, Munford and Glaze are both projected tackle guard type players, so having those guys on the roster to fill a guard spot. But anyways, I sort of have an 18th spot or wild card spot for either a tackle or a guard to possibly make the team. Andrew Coker's an interesting name, and then obviously Wagner, who we have as well. But that could also lead to a potential free agent signing as well. So maybe if Munford or Glaze aren't really necessarily the guy, if somebody gets cut that we don't know about, or a trade or something like that happens, that could be an interesting pickup for the Raiders. And then running back, White, Madison, Abdullah, and Lobby, the 4 running backs. That obviously gives us 23 players. It gives us a couple extra on the defensive side of the ball. But I think it'd be interesting too if we do keep a fullback, just because Luke Getsy's offenses always had a fullback, but right now we don't even have one on the roster. So we'll see what happens there. And then edge, Crosby, Kuntz, Wilson, and Robinson, and then kind of a 5th spot that's kind of open right now. So Ron Stone's an interesting UDFA, Amani Gaynor also, and then Snowden and Ogba. I'm not sure they make the team, but the other 2 have a legit shot, I think, at making the team. And obviously this is a spot 2 for another free agent possible if we want to get that 5th edge guy in there. And then D-tackle, Wilkins, Adams, and Jenkins, I think, are pretty solid on the team. I do have 6 defensive tackles on the roster spots, and so it'd be interesting if Byron Young or Matthew Butler or Nesta or McCall make the team. And then interesting, the UDFAs we got. I think Noah Shanna has a legit shot at making it. Tamani Fox, I'm not sure. Wasn't able to watch a lot of him, but Noah Shanna, he was suspended last year, but prior to that, he was pretty damn good. So I kind of look for him to maybe take one of those spots. But that's going to be a heck of a battle going into camp to get those last 3 spots. And then linebackers, Spillane, Diablo, and Eichenberg. I think those guys are pretty solid on the team. And then Amari, Bernie, Masterson, Butler, McCall for kind of those 2 extra spots. And so we'll see what happens there, if there's any free agent signings there. But I think those 4 guys are going to battle it out for 2 spots is kind of what I have. And then at cornerback, Jones, Hobbs, Bennett, Richardson, and Devenshire. I have all those guys, but I have a 6th spot as well. I think we're going to keep all of our, or try to do our best to keep all of our drafted players. So it'll be interesting to see, Webb, Faison, Armstrong. But I kind of suspect too that there'll be a free agent signing as well. I mean, we've got about $17 million left. So we have money to spend, and it's just a matter if we go and do it. So I kind of kept that 6th spot open, and we'll see who wins that battle. And then finally at safety, Epps, Mooring, Paul Mao, and Taylor. So I leave Smith, Grant, and Sanford. So I think Smith has a really good shot at making the team. And again, it could be a free agent signing as well there. So I guess, I mean, we got what's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, about 13 of the 53 spots that I think are pretty much camp battles right now, and potentially free agent signing as well. So I think the team's looking in great shape. Let me know what you guys think of the draft and kind of how the roster's shaping up. And anyways, I'll put it all in the description as well, so you can read it as well. So it might be easier to follow. I was kind of rambling a little bit as I was kind of going through it. But anyways, yeah, solid draft. Got a lot of maybe not the needs that we thought at the beginning, but definitely the positions that I thought we'd fill in the draft, we definitely filled them. And we still have some room too now for some post-draft free agency as well. So anyways, that's kind of what I got for you. Please like, share, subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you next time. Thank you.